Hey there, you're watching Go on Shaw TV, coming to you today from Kiwanis Hilton Center, which is looking pretty snappy. Well, hello there. You are watching Go on Shaw TV, and we are here at the Kiwanis Hilton Children's Center. You might not even recognize it because it is looking pretty darn beautiful, and Executive Director Susan Fox is going to tell us about it. Susan, what is happening here?
So last year we had an opportunity to apply to the Alberni Valley Community Forest Foundation. We also partnered with the Community Foundation itself, and we were able to put together a grant request for the siding, or the windows and the siding for this building, with a bigger picture being that we were looking at the huge amount of energy savings that we'd have throughout the year. The old windows were unsafe, they were single pane glass, so there was a huge safety concern. We lost so much heat in the winter, and all the cold came in the winter, and we lost heat in the summer, sorry.
We know what you mean. I've got those old windows too.
The winter. And the bills, we were facing $1,000 bills every month for heating costs, and it isn't sustainable. So we were looking for an opportunity to change all those aspects and make the center more warm, inviting, comfortable, safer for children and families. And this opportunity came up, and it's not every day where you get a chance to apply for money where you can invest in a capital structure like this. As a part of it, the benefit was we were then able to reside the building, and other partners stepped in the community. So we had Mike McKay from Franklin Forest Products, John Kutch from Trans-Pacific Trading came in, and we also had all of our contractors have been super generous. The other benefit of this was that we kept all the work local, so the money was raised locally from the community forest. We reinvested it into local contractors, so Joel Salmon Contracting, Alberni Glass, Harstad Painting. They've all been very generous, and they've supported us right from the beginning, being on board with planning and such.
Wow. Susan Fox, how did you remember all of that? I can't believe you could remember all that.
Well, my heart and my soul is in this project, and it's been very personal to me and very exciting, and I've just been so invested in this personally. I don't think it's pretty easy to remember all the good people that stand behind you.
Yeah, it is. It is easy to remember all the good people. It is such an amazing project, and for me, it's exciting that it is a community forest project. This is our community taking care of itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, what a gift that is. So, and I hope that those funds are accessible in the future to all of the community. And so what a nice way to see a legacy like that come back into your community. And like I said, I mean, I know there's so many good things we could do here with that money, but it's so nice to see it being able to touch so many individual projects. It's so needed. We're a small community, and we have a lot of not-for-profits. So opportunities like this, like I said, don't come along every day. And I'm really thankful for it. It gives me an opportunity to leverage these funds to go forward to other funders when they see that I have that the center has such backing from major funders like this. Then they feel more invested in investing as well. So.
Absolutely. It's a great project. Susan, thank you for telling me about it. We're going to meet up with somebody from the Community Forest and the Legacy Fund in just a few minutes, tell you a little bit more about those funds, how they were accessed. But first, I met a father and son who have seen some pretty rough times, but they met a group of people that made it a little bit more bearable. But before we meet them, Jenny Fortin stopped by a national event that was happening locally.
Where does inspiration come from? Some might be inspired by colorful flowers, perhaps a wave on the ocean. One might even be inspired by an industrial waterfront.
Painting from life gives us textures and smells and atmosphere that we can't capture from photographs. Primarily, the source material comes from life, and drawing or painting a living object, it brings you so much more wealth of information and inspiration and passion.
Artists of all kinds gathered at the Harbor Quay to see what caught their eye and piqued their interest.
I don't get out much to paint. I usually paint at home, but it's kind of nice to get out, you know. I mean, you're not as perfect as you are at home or trying to be perfect. You just let it go and just kind of feel the wind today.
There are professional artists here, and there are people like me who are just amateurs, just learning, and we're all able to come together and translate what we see, hopefully communicate, because that's what art is about.
As you can see, the Harbor Key inspired brushes to flow and paint to be dabbled. But on this day, there were other places around the world also bringing inspiration to artists and their canvases.
This is the third annual Alberni Valley Paint Out, and all over the world, artists are painting these same 2 days in conjunction with the International World Plein Air Paint Out Society.
We actually live in Nanaimo, and we go to various paint out events on the island, and sometimes on the lower mainland as well. And we were here last year, and it's nicely well organized and pleasant.
Each year we sign up on the International Plein Air Painters website as a participant, and all the other participants do that around the world. And we all take photos of this 2-day event that's happening simultaneously around the world. And we put them on their website as well as on our Facebook website. And it's wonderful to be in such great company.
You can find this year's Paint Out art from Port Alberni and all over the world on their website. And perhaps, just maybe, be inspired to take your paintbrush outside as well. For Go, on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
Looking at baby pictures is one of those special shared moments in most families. After all, welcoming a new child into the family is one of the happiest times in a parent's life. But for Richard Wasileniuk and his son Brett, those pictures are always divided into before and after piles. Before and after, Brett was diagnosed with cancer.
It was a tumor. It was called rhabdomyosarcoma. Apparently it's rare with kids, but met a few people over there while we were there that their kids had it also.
Over there was the BC Children's Hospital, where 3-year-old Brett went for treatment. And Richard went too, supporting his son and trying his best to keep his fears to himself.
Scared? I mean, hey, your 3-year-old kid's got cancer. I mean, every time you hear cancer, you think right away, you think death. So yeah, it was pretty heart-wrenching.
Eventually, Brett would undergo 52 weeks of chemo and 6 weeks of radiation therapy. All of it time spent in Vancouver, away from the familiarity of home. Time that was made just a little bit easier for Richard when he began to stay at Easter Seal's house.
At first, it was just a room, it's just a place to go and crash. But when you start getting to know the staff and talking to them, it helps to have somebody there to talk with. A great facility to go in the center area there where families can go and talk with each other, and little fridge, little stove, own little space to relax.
With easy access to the BC Children's Hospital, the Vancouver Easter Seal's house offers an affordable place for families to stay while their children are being treated. But for Richard, it was the people that made all the difference.
They were so amazingly friendly there and everything. They tried to help you out as much as they could, stuff like that. And, it was still hard on you, but it's easier to accept once you start seeing all the other parents going through the same thing. You're not all by yourself. There is other things going on, and when you've seen how well he did.
Yes, how well he did. Brett responded well to treatment, and today is a healthy, cancer-free 8-year-old.
Driving me crazy, which I guess most kids do. Healthy, been clear for 3 years now.
Brett goes for follow-up testing at Children's Hospital every few months, and when he does, he and his dad check in at Easter Seal's house, their home away from home that made an otherwise unbearable time just a little bit easier.
Because when people are going through what they're going through when they're at Children's Hospital with their children, they need a place like that to get away from it all. Don't go too far, please. Yeah, we'll turn
For
around.
Go on Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot. Now, Richard and Brett's story is actually going to be part of the Timmy's Christmas Telethon this year, coming up on December 6th, so their story is going to reach a lot of people and a lot of hearts. Be sure you take it in. We are still here at the Kiwanis Hilton Children's Center, and we were talking about this wonderful project that's going on, paid for in part by the Community Forest. So I have Jack McClellan, City Council Liaison for the Community Forest. Jack, how does this come about?
Well, thank you very much. This came about 6 years ago when we started the Community Forest. We made a decision that the profits would be given to the city as a dividend to be used for anywhere in the Alberni Valley for capital projects for improving the valley.
Well, this has to be a great use for it. What a wonderful, I don't think people know this about the Community Forest.
No, it's been quite quiet, I guess. We have a very good Community Forest Board. They run the forest very well. And what they've done is come up with some profits, not as good as maybe some of the towns, but we got the wood we got. And we came up with, after 5 years, which was last year, we came up with $350,000 that we could give as a dividend and still reinvest in the forest.
Wow. So is this something that is going to come up every year now? Will there be, depending on what the profits are every year, or is it every few years?
It'll probably be every few years, depending on profit. This year particularly, we finished a 5-year program, and it's taken until the end of this year to get started again. So we just started logging again now.
Excellent. Well, Jack McClellan, we're going to be talking to Ron Paulson coming up in just a few minutes. Find out a little bit more about this, about how this money is divvied up and what other projects in town have benefited. But before we do that, we're going to stroll down Art Avenue with Melissa Martin.
The rides, the food, the entertainment. The Alberni District Fall Fair is an event that brings the community together, but it's also a place to celebrate our roots.
That's really what fall fairs are all about, isn't it? Celebrating the harvest. And we are very happy to be here in the same building with the farmers and the farmers markets.
It's always been a theme to support agriculture. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, but generally speaking, there's always some agricultural exhibits, let's put it that way.
This year marked the 70th Alberni Fall Fair. But there's been farming and agriculture in the Alberni Valley that dates back well before the first Fall Fair was even thought of.
There was farms developing everywhere because they had no way of importing food. The only thing they brought in was spices and salt, maybe sugar. But the rest of it they had to grow themselves.
Agriculture in the Alberni Valley has seen many changes over the years. And in today's rapidly changing environment, it's farm supporters like Ed that see these changes firsthand.
Mason bees are native to North America. They've been here from day one. All they do is pollinate. There's no honey involved. And they're 40% more efficient than honeybees. And now with the honeybees dying off, we still need pollination. 40% of the food we eat is pollinated, and if we don't have pollination, we don't eat.
There is some hope for future generations. Just have a chat with any 4-H kid.
It's really good to start making your own food so you know where it comes from and you know how it's processed. And we have our own garden, and we've actually slaughtered a couple pigs for our freezer. So yeah, basically if we didn't have farms, we wouldn't have food.
Rest assured, it's groups like the Alberni Valley Transition Town that are keeping tabs on these agricultural changes and informing the public at places like the Fall Fair.
More and more, so you find that every year there's a change. And this year we've had some really interesting people visit. People who want to conserve and store rainwater, people who are looking for worms for their worm composter, people who are experimenting with container gardening. So it's really been interesting. Lots of questions, lots of connections.
More information about agriculture can be found in the West Coast Growers Guide. And you can always connect with the Alberni Valley Transition Town Society on their website. For a Go on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
Well, there seems to be a summit meeting going on behind us about the project, about the community forest. I think I'm going to go eavesdrop for a little bit. While I do that, we're going to take a bit of a break, so please don't go away. Well, welcome back. You are still watching Go on Shaw TV. We are still here at the Kiwanis Hilton Children's Center on 10th Avenue talking about this amazing project that's going on and how part of it was funded by the Community Forest Legacy Fund. And Ron, $350,000. There were a few other projects paid for.
Yeah, the Community Legacy Fund, as you say, was $350,000, the dividend this time around. And I think the intent of it was to have a whole bunch of small capital projects. But all those projects become a whole and become part of the community and make our community better in the end run. We've had projects like you see in the background here, but there's funds for trails, there's funds for West Coast Aquatic for their new interpretive center that's going up, an expansion project at the multiplex. So it is something that helps make our community better at the end of the day, and it's nice to see a community forest that puts back into the community.
Absolutely, it's built right into the name. It is a community forest, it is our forest, and it is exciting to see this project coming to fruition, that there are finally funds being distributed, because I know, you know, we set it up, it was a long go to get the community forest going, but it's nice to see it giving back.
You know, as sitting on the Legacy Fund, it was fun to see all of the applications that came in, and the thought and the imagination that went into some of the projects, and all of which, as I said before, I think makes our community a better place. And this is a perfect example in the background here, where it's a community facility, and it's going to make it more efficient and much prettier.
Oh, so much prettier, beautiful, showcasing some of our Alberni Valley wood. It's a good project.
Absolutely, yeah, lots of fun.
Lots of fun. Ron, thank you so much for telling me about it. It is a great project. It really is beautiful. I know people aren't talking about it as beautiful, they're talking about it as energy saving and all of that, but it is quite beautiful. Now, we are almost at the end of our show. Our last block, though, is all about literacy. There is a great event coming up on the 23rd you're going to want to hear about, and James Messenger revisits his literary past.
I'm James Messenger, and I'm here to talk about the book Where the Red Fern Grows. I just finished reading it. One of the things I'm doing this summer is reading books in preparation for me to be teaching language arts grade 5-6 at Wood Elementary School next year. And Where the Red Fern Grows is one of the books that I read in grade 6, so I was excited to read it again. That was a few years ago now. It's a great book if you love dogs and you love the outdoors, which is something that I really like doing. And it's an interesting book about a boy who works hard to earn money for 2 hunting dogs and the adventures that he has with his 2 hunting dogs. I could connect to the book because I read it in grade 6, and I vividly remember my grade 6 teacher liking it and getting emotional at some of the different stages of the book. And again, my love for dogs. I'm not sure it's a book I'm going to read for my grade 5-6 class because it's pretty dated. But for any of those parents out there who may have read this book, I'd strongly encourage you to read it and reconnect with your memories from past.
Welcome to Eurofest 2015. Eurofest 2015 grew out of our 42-year-old Oktoberfest to include all family members. It's going to take place on October the 10th. This is one great day with 3 big events.
At 10 a.m., we're going to kick off the West Coast Rangers Black Powder Range
the Shootin' Fest. Everyone is welcome.
And then at 2 p.m., it's off to the Glenwood Centre and Kinderfest with lots and lots of fun for all the kinder in town.
At 7 o'clock, we open the doors at the Glenwood Centre for our 42 years old Port Alberni Oktoberfest and some truly great fun for everyone.
Tickets are available at www.eurofest.info and at many other sites throughout Port Alberni.
Eurofest 2015. Be there.
Literacy. It's a skill that allows us to navigate through an ever more complex world. And once a year in Port Alberni and other communities, there's an event called Raise a Reader that raises awareness of and money for literacy. And although this event is embraced across the community, nobody is more enthusiastic about it than Charmy Chella.
Hello!
Hi, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm raising money for Raise a Reader for Literacy Alberni.
Okay.
I think that we at Literacy Alberni honestly gear up for this day for 364 days of the year. Good morning! Oh, look at you. Aren't you? Do you want two? Without Raise a Reader Day, most of our programming just simply couldn't happen. It is our biggest fundraiser of the whole year, and the whole community gets behind it. Papers for Literacy, happy Raise a Reader Day, everybody.
Charmy's enthusiasm is infectious. It's hard not to smile when she approaches you. And that's a good thing, because her agency, Literacy Alberni, is up against some seriously low literacy rates in the Alberni Valley.
Unfortunately, the statistics show that still in Port Alberni the rate would be around 41%. But we're persistent, and I'm sure that we are going to make a difference.
Now, making a difference is why so many groups and organizations are involved in Raise a Reader, and it's an effort that Charmy believes is paying off.
When I first started, which was about 3 years ago, we had approximately 200 unique clients a year that would come into the Learning Center over on Thiebaud. And last year, when I was doing all of my reports, I recorded a number of about 360 unique learners. So to me, our programming is reaching who we need to be reaching.
It has paid off. The community does recognize the Raise a Reader campaign. As soon as you mention it, oh yes, I know about Raise a Reader.
Well, it would have been hard to miss. The orange t-shirts, the free newspapers, the fundraising efforts put on by businesses across the valley seem to be everywhere. But in the end, there's one message that Literacy Alberni is hoping is heard.
We all have our own obstacles in life, and if literacy is your largest obstacle, there is no shame in that. We can help you. That is something that we can help you navigate and change your life forever. Thanks, man. Happy Raise a Reader Day. That's awesome.
In Port Alberni, I'm Nancy Wilmot. Now, Raise a Reader is just one day a year, but Literacy Alberni works all year round to raise literacy rates in the valley. They're a great bunch of people. You can stop by their office in the old Klitza School on Thiebaud Avenue. Stop in and talk. They offer tutoring in computer literacy, in reading, ESL, and of course, through their social enterprise Klitza Tutoring, they offer standard tutoring to School District 70 students. Really does bring us to the end of our show. There's nothing left to say except be good to each other.